May I please have your attention? May I please have your attention, please?
2022, take it back to 01. Back when yelling f was shocking and fun. Back when Musketeers exploded onto the scene. Britney and Justin were in sync, know what I mean? Steven Tyler screamed he didn't want to miss a thing. Back when Carson Daly dominated the screen. Back a couple decades before I felt old. Before Janet Jackson had a whole nipple exposed. Whoa. Hold up, whoa Nelly. Dr. Dre is scheduled to be featured on my telly. This about to be the best, there's nothing you can tell me. A heavy dose of nostalgia, no better way to sell me.
Just then, a panic falls.
I think I need to get my friends Frank and Jan and Cole. There's no way it will be better than the TRL show. Kane and DB, hell no. Hype beats will get fed for show. Time to level my expectations still low. They were once real high, gotta make them real low. Hit them with the Dillo. They were once real high, gotta make them real low. Hit them with the Dillo.
And now I know that whenever my expectations get too high, I need to Dillo them. I need to Dillo those expectations. Because what could possibly deliver to the hype that's in my mind? Nothing.
It's Theme Park Thursday Live with DillosDiz. Featuring Frank. And Jen.
Oh, on this screen, how to get out of the big screen. Oh my!
Terrifying.
Thursday with Theme Park Thursday Live with DillosDiz. She is Jen.
Hello.
Much happier to be in the rectangular screen.
Yes.
Prefers the horizontal view than the vertical view. And I am Frank, and it is Selection Tuesday because it's March, baby. It's tournament time, baby. It's hashtag Dillos Madness, baby.
Yay!
So this morning we are going to talk about the matchups in the DillosDiz, my favorite thing about Disney ever this year, March Madness Mania Pool.
Porn.
We have 32 matchups to discuss. We have 4 brackets, 4 main sections of the bracket to go over. And then immediately following this live stream, if you have not done so already, because I know some of you have, you can request your bracket, DillosDiz@gmail.com. We have not set an official deadline to submit your bracket back to us for discussion, but we will set a deadline that goes with our contest. That there will be 2 prizes this year. There will be the prize for everyone who submits in general, and then there will be a prize for the guests of DillosDizResort.com. DillosDiz Resort, to your escape to Disney nostalgia. DillosDizResort.com. Jen, over to you.
Stuffers wants to know if she can request her bracket in the chat.
Listen, I can only do so much.
Stuffers, I would highly recommend against this because Frank's memory will not retain this after this portion here.
But there's good news. We have visuals on this live stream this morning. We're not just going to talk and you're going to have to write everything down and then request a bracket. We have a presentation.
That's right. It's the whole thing.
We have a whole thing here that we're going to talk over.
And I would like to start off by saying 2 things. One is that last year's Theme Park Thursday Live, when we started doing this, actually was born from us going live for Dillos Madness. So we're like a year in to these DillosDiz live things that we've been doing. So that's exciting.
Yeah, it's like a year, basically, we've been doing.
Yes.
Yeah, officially.
Also, I would like to let everyone know we can blame Jeffers for all of this. So whether that's good or bad. But Jeffers, over in our one-channel Discord on DillosDiz Resort there, had looked at the bracket and said, are we going to get a preview of this? I don't know what some of these guys look like. And so the discussion began via text. Jeffers is saying, is there going to be a preview? Should we do a video? Should we go live? You want to go live on Tuesday? All right. Should we just put up some pictures? Maybe Mr. Snidillo can do a video. Do you think he could do a video? All right. Well, let's see what happens. So we'll just go live and we'll see what happens. And here we are. So hashtag blame Jeffers. Yes, Jeffers, you put all of us to more work. You gave us more work to do in the last few days.
Mr. Snidillo was up until 1 a.m. for you, Jeffers. I want you to know.
Facts. So, yeah. Also, I just need to address one thing in the chat. Jeffers has asked that Dr. Jacqueline, who is in the chat today, hello, Dr. J, so lovely to see you, be put on speed dial for tonight at 7 p.m. And that's because over in DillosDiz Resort, we're going to be discussing the movie Meet Joe Black as a recap, which traumatized some folk. And so she may need to assist with some emotional support during that time.
Well, you are riding solo tonight. Maybe Dr. Jacqueline wants to co-host.
Maybe, yeah. Mr. Snidillo may also be co-hosting because I'm just putting him to work as well. So I may bring him in for a co-host as well, since it's one of his faves. So there we go.
Interesting. Then, so there you go. There's a little sneak peek of what's happening at DillosDizResort.com tonight. But I don't want to carry on anymore. We have a lot to go over here.
Yes.
And immediately following, we will send out the brackets to everyone with laying out the contest rules and everything involving the DillosDiz, my favorite thing about Disney ever this year, March Madness Mania Pool.
And no, Lewis, you're not the only one that doesn't like that sound, but we're 4 years in, and so we're keeping it.
Oh, Dr. Jacqueline.
Put it on your list. Thank you.
All right, so it's time to share the screen. This is the animatronic edition in our 4th annual #Dillos Madness Pool. Don't forget, right after this, you can request your bracket, DillosDiz@gmail.com. We'll get you an Excel. We'll get you a PDF, whichever is best. You can scan your PDF with your handwritten notes and send back. You can just type it into the Excel and send it back. Whatever works best for you. Request your bracket at by emailing, please. There's a whole blooper thing that's going to happen with Theme Park Thursday's recording this week on the podcast. I'm just going to say it out loud. It's been a thing. Yeah.
You can request it with a PDF or a what?
What did I say?
What did it say? It a PDF or what? Excel?
PDF? Excel?
It's just when you're saying it sounds like you're talking about a size, like you want the XL as opposed to like Excel. So I'm like, what is he saying? Is that how he says Excel?
Oh man, it's a long morning. So we don't want to dillo this video because it is Sports Channel worthy, everyone. We're going to build it up courtesy of Snidillo Studios. I'm going to share the screen like I do. Hopefully I pull up the right screen because I think I have like 8 versions of it up. So I'm going to bring this here like this. Jen, how does it look to you?
Good.
So we'll start. There'll be a little intro, and then we'll start talking immediately following. So let's get to it.
Well, we can talk during. Are we going to talk during?
No, we're going to talk during. Yeah, we're going to talk. What did I say?
Okay.
I meant
immediately following. So yeah,
I meant after following the intro is what following the intro is what I meant to specify a little more clearly right now. And here we go, courtesy of Snidillo Studios.
Dillos Madness 2022. The DillosDiz, my favorite thing about Disney ever this year, March Madness Mania Pool.
That's for you, Lewis.
All right, so here we go. First round of the Magic Kingdom bracket. Lincoln versus Tigger. I mean, Lincoln's the classic, right, Jen? You gotta think that's an early contender, the OG.
I mean, that was a good one to put in the first spot. I think that was a good first seed pick. I don't know how these seeds work. 4 years in, I still don't get it. So.
The last 3 times I went to Hall of Presidents, I thought I was gonna go, and I didn't.
Yeah.
Tigger, number 16. I just like seeing Tigger in animatronic form because we should mention that it's Big Al.
Do you want to pause it at all? Did you want to
pause for a second?
I didn't know if you wanted to say something about Tigger specifically. So
I wanted to make a mention of Tigger just briefly here as we look at Big Al. I got to remember where my tabs are. It's just part of it here, part of the scenario here. Just to mention Tigger, like just to see Tigger on a ride, like that I felt when they closed Mr. Toad's and the world was angry and I was still a cast member. I felt like seeing Tigger on a ride was like, I mean, I worked a little with Tigger, so there was a little more connection with Tigger during that time. But I, you know, so that has a nostalgic place. And that's to say, there are three things you consider here when we're talking about these brackets, these matchups, everything else. They're chosen at random, so I'm going to forget some. I'm going to leave some people out. I'm going to leave some animatronics. I think people are going to say, what about this? And I'm going to say, I totally forgot.
Yeah.
So you're going to be angry about that. You're going to be angry about the difficulty in some of these matchups, which I do on purpose so that people struggle. And you're going to be angry a little bit about certain animatronics receiving lower numbers than you think they are. That is the tradition of hashtag Dillos Madness.
We're already making people angry.
So you're ready. Dr. Jacqueline angry. This is what you're all here for, is to get worked up out of what we decide to do. And you know that's how it goes every single year. Let's continue.
First of all, I would like to say, Dr. J, I think you're the first ones to curse us out in our chat. And second, I still don't understand what 16 means. I still don't get it. So I'm like, oh, I don't know. He's the second on the list. I don't get it. I don't know. He's up against Lincoln. What do I know?
Dr. J knows that I'm thinking about ranking them 1 through 16 every year. And then Jen immediately forgets that until the next year. It's a large vehicle going outside. Right now. Here we go. So there's
before
Big
this
Al.
was Big Al. Yeah.
Big Al versus Wendy on the blank, which I think, you know, is an interesting matchup. People
Two
love.
classics.
Yeah, two classics.
Yeah.
Speaking of Peter Pan's flight, it's Hook and Crocodile versus Captain Jack in the finale. I could have picked out different Captain Jacks. I could have, but it's the finale. You kind of get stuck there for a little bit. You're looking at them a little bit longer.
Right. And I mean, Hook, again, some more classic scenes. I feel like a lot of Peter Pan had to be used in this. Peter Pan's a classic. You have to keep going with Hook and Crocodile.
Yeah. So we got John and Rover from Carousel. This is the one I wanted to drive some people crazy with. John and Rover versus 3 pirates and a prison dog.
Yes.
I honestly don't know who this is, because I know
This is a tough
I personally
one.
could have struggled with
Yeah.
this one, because the pirates are like, that's a thing for me.
Yes, for sure.
But John and Rover is.
I mean, come on, John and Rover. Yeah, I think Sam would pick 3 pirates in a prison dog because, you know.
And speaking of Carousel of Progress, we got Uncle Orville, which was a late addition. I almost forgot. I was like, how did I forget about Uncle Orville?
Yeah.
So he had to go in here.
No privacy. You have to go with him.
And then Lumiere in the Enchanted Tales with Belle, which a lot of people in
have you seen that?
No, Mrs. Dillo and the 2-year-old at the time saw it, or 1-year-old, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a Mr. Snidillo favorite right here.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably going to make it so Sunny Eclipse wins. Let's be real. That is a favorite. Hey, we have a T-shirt like this you can get over on our TeePublic shop. There you go. And the whole cast you went with, the whole cast of It's a Small World.
It was Hula Girl originally, and I was like, I can't have every favorite Small World cast. And speaking of cast, Tiki Room cast versus the Bathing Elephant.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, it's going to be tough to go like a whole cast against one solo. This is.
I'm going to pause on Tiki Room for a second, right? So it was with Small World cast. It was Hula Girl. The Hula Girl. The Hula Girl. The Hula Girl originally. And then, I started thinking about other Small World cast members that I liked. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put the whole Small World cast and make it more difficult for people to decide. Yeah. But I appreciate Mr. Snidillo putting in the guard that I usually tip my hat to there along the way. So then the Tiki Room cast versus the Bathing Elephant. To me, the Bathing Elephant, though I don't ride Jungle Cruise too often, I feel like it's an iconic photo and all the memorabilia and souvenir guides over time. So that's why the Bathing Elephant is there. The Beating Heart Pride, a Haunted Mansion matchup.
Wow, that's going to be tough. I think that'll be tough for Dr. Val to choose from.
Yeah. And the Beating Heart Bride, I feel like I've grown. The Gravedigger was always kind of classic to me. As I pause for a second, I always like turning back and looking and just observing that animatronic. It stands out to me for some reason. Yeah. The Beating Heart Bride, in the podcast portion of the last 4 years, I have been on road. I have rode Haunted Mansion more than any other time in my life these past 4 years, because so many of our friends and community members and love Haunted Mansion. So way more. So the Beating Heart Bride, I feel like, is a new observation for me in general. Moving on to Epcot. Does anyone have any questions in the chat?
Oh yeah.
About.
I want to pause on Magic Kingdom.
Let's pause on Magic Kingdom.
So Jeffers wants to know, if we send our pics to Mr. Snidillo, will he make us individual slideshows? We'll have to talk to Mr. Snidillo about that and get back to you. Lewis thinks more people need to be watching this. I agree. Send this link to your friends after the fact, and let's get those numbers out. Make sure you like this and comment and do all the things.
And tweet it after that we did. It was like a fantastic presentation. I got Drag Race.
Yeah. Oh, we just lost Frank completely. He just... a whole thing. We got the presentation is gone. Frank is gone. Just everything is gone now. So Nate, I know Gravedigger over Bride. It's gonna be it'll be interesting to see what everyone picks for that one. Dr. J thinks it's a good 8 versus 9 matchup, whatever that means. Because this is what Frank does, because he wants to do this. He wants to make people riled up.
Yeah, I think the Tiki Room cast versus the Bathing Elephant is a unique kind of matchup, indeed.
Too big, Jeffers. Is this your fault for praising the quality of this? Yes, you said it was looking too good, and so Frank disappeared. That's what happens.
Let's end this.
And in my head, I hear, bye, Rocco, due to TikTok. Thank you. And yes, okay. We're good. Let's go over to Epcot.
All right. Let's not hit the wrong X's on the
thing. Some new BGM.
All right. Here we go. Well, Dreamfinder and Figment as the 1 seed, Jen, versus the Manhole Guy, which is a personal favorite from World of Motion. The Epcot bracket is past, present, and future. Magic Kingdom was all present. Epcot is past, present, and future.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's 2 good classic matchups. I'm liking that one. Oh, what?
Jen, I am going to pause here for a moment
because I think
while you vamp, I have to take a phone call.
Oh, okay. No problem.
It's just here during the live show.
Yes. So I don't know if, and we'll have to fix this little glitch here. Does everyone see Dreamfinder on their screen right now? Can you confirm? Because I feel like we saw it and then it went to Dreamfinder again. So I'm just trying to make sure where we're at. Yes, Stuffers. Bye, Rocco. It's my okay. Actually, this is on my computer screen only. Office is vastly changed. Got it. So I think Dreamfinder and Figment, especially in this classic view here, do we all agree that Journey of Imagination, the OG, is the best? I do. So I'm excited for this. And we miss the classic rides. Sure, I love Test Track, but I miss World of Motion sometimes. Mr. Snidillo, as he was making this, he really had no recollection of World of Motion. So it was kind of cool to see someone from an outside perspective going oh, I don't even remember this ride. So that was good. And then we had to search for the picture of the guy in the manhole popping up. So that was good. Jeffers, yep, that you see Dreamfinder and Figment on your screen. Is that? You weren't born yet, Lewis, so you never saw World of Motion. Those are when I went back to Epcot. I was so confused about why I loved Journey as a kid. Yeah. I know it was, and then the in between Journey to Imagination was tough, and then it came back with a vengeance, and it wasn't as good, but better than the middle, but not as good as the OG. So, only later did I read up, and Disney go right. I understand, Lewis. Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking with these brackets too, is that there are folks like yourselves at all different points. We go way back with Disney. Some people really only started going to Disney more often in the last 10, 20 years or whatever it is. So there are going to be animatronics in these brackets that some of you may not know, or some of you are not as familiar with, or maybe you're going to do a little bit of research on because you're Disney nerds like us and you want to go back and see where these characters were and what the rides were like and all that kind of thing. So I do think, I mean, we probably have VHS footage of World of Motion, but it was kind of like Spaceship Earth. So there are points where it's darker. So I don't really know how good of quality that is, but I'm sure it's out there on YouTube as well. That needs to be Disney birth dates. Yeah, true. So you could just say I'm too young. Yeah, I know, Steffers. Hello.
I had to go. That was a nice intermission I just took.
Yeah.
I thought something was wrong. There was nothing wrong. So then
okay,
we're good to go.
Okay. I noticed though that we did Dreamfinder, Figment, and Guy in the Manhole, but then it kind of went back to Dreamfinder and Figment again.
It
So I
went
don't know.
twice? Maybe I hit something by accident. So
Right. So we can move on to the next one.
Well, Manhole Guy is a classic. I always used to look in the manhole when the World of Motion would drive by. So again, in the Epcot past, present, and future, is a favorite.
There we go.
Ben Franklin and Mark Twain from the American Adventure versus Michelangelo. Behold the majesty of the Sistine ceiling.
I feel like
Mhm.
I don't know that I've ever seen this show, quite honestly. And did we see it as kids? Because if we didn't, then I never saw it. I was in the building once for an event with a company I previously worked for, but I don't recall ever seeing the show.
We saw it as kids and probably haven't seen it since.
Yeah,
So I'm trying to think
right.
that's another one, much like Hollow Presidents, where I'm like, I need to go in. I feel like a dedicated amount of time, though. And Michelangelo's Michelangelo. So I feel like as a 12 seed for me, early favorite.
Yeah.
The Phoenicians versus Buzzy. The Phoenicians, we always thank them.
You always thank the Phoenicians.
Always
Ever
thank
heard of
the
your
Phoenicians.
ABCs?
Along the way, the 7th seed. I'm sure people are angry about that. And Buzzy, who was in the news a couple of years back as being in the wonders of life, being stolen at some point.
Oh.
Sweater Figment. Mr. Snidillo went with the winter.
Yeah.
The winter version here, but I will accept there's no rules really, but if you wanted to go with the yellow and red sweater version, I think just that the Figment likes to wear sweaters, I think is enough for us here.
Yeah.
So the two Figment appearances here in the bracket.
Excellent. I like when Figment puts a little sweater on. Sven's tongue stuck. Specific.
Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah.
The Maelstrom Trolls versus the Spaceship Earth Paperboy. People are gonna, it's a 2 seed because I know people have strong feelings about Maelstrom. And so based on those strong feelings, Maelstrom Trolls became a 2 seed. And then, the Spaceship Earth Paperboy, let's discuss. What?
What?
But I just saw him regular.
I know. It says Spaceship Earth Paperboy, but with a different picture.
He's a little turned around these days. And he
doesn't
say the same thing.
What's coming up now? I think it's glitching.
It's glitching a little bit.
Yeah.
The Spaceship Earth Engineer versus the 3 Caballeros.
Hello, Tombstone Josh. Yes.
Hey, Tombstone Josh. What's up? The Spaceship Earth Engineer has been getting lots of love.
Yes.
The last several years. And then the 3 Caballeros who had their challenges last year were replaced by cardboard cutouts at some point. That might work against them here in the DillosDiz. My favorite thing about Disney ever this year, March Madness Mania Pool. An 11 seed, probably due to their functionality. They were ranked 11 in the Epcot bracket.
Can you pause it for a moment? I need to address Nate's comment, who is saying the fact that Paperboy had the wrong picture is perfect. It's not perfect, Nate, because first of all, Mr. Snidillo and I had a discussion because he was like, should he be which way should he be facing? And I was like, forward, because that's where he belongs. Saying extra, extra, New York Daily. This whole, hey, get your paper turned around, not even facing us. It's ridiculous. And you know what I do then to that? I will yes and what you're saying, Nate, and say it is good because I would stick my tongue out to that Paperboy turned around at me, just like Sven. I don't know where I'm going. Let's continue.
She has strong feelings about the Paperboy on Spaceship Earth. Just say that out loud.
Yeah.
So, a little Horizons here.
Yeah.
With the Robot Butler, a classic.
Yes.
Classic. versus Anna and Elsa in the finale. People love the animatronics, are afraid of the animatronics of Anna and Elsa in the finale. So people have mixed feelings. The Robot Butler as an 8 seed, maybe a little harsh in the past, present, and future Epcot bracket. Anna and Elsa, Esla. This is 12:30 right here. The good news is we will have probably the completed version of the video as its own separate video with the necessary updates. So Let It Go, Elsa versus the Underwater family of Horizons. Jen and I had a very big discussion about the Underwater family of Horizons.
Yeah, it's like, is it this one? Is it these people? Is it these people? Is this a teacher and kids, or is this a family? Who are all these people?
We were trying to identify who the characters actually were in the Underwater. I was like, I thought it was this. So finally we went with what I determined to be a brother and a sister. In this scene pictured here, the brother is working on his underwater ship thing, whatever it is, and the sister is on screen. And then when you go to the next scene, you see the sister and you see the Mark Hamill lookalike on the screen, and so you see how they're FaceTiming. Basically.
Yes, exactly. They're FaceTiming.
And that's the end of the Epcot bracket, which we took a little bit of a delay on, but we'll take any questions at this time about the Epcot bracket. Any comments, any concerns? Epcot, of course, is the past, present, and future of Epcot.
Yeah, I see Lewis saying...
Yeah.
I know. I'll address that in a minute. Glowface, Anna, and Esla, as thanks, Lewis, for keeping it consistent. That it is interesting to see the animatronics of the past versus present because of these glow faces on a lot of the newer animatronics. Pirates could have its own. Yeah, I mean, this is a good point. Yeah. Pirates could have its own. You could pretty much do it with the cast of the Tiki Room, the cast of Small World. So Pirates. For sure.
Right, yeah. And I think for a while, and I was like, is it really the same kind of leg? Because I look at it every time.
Yeah,
because it goes back to a behind the scenes tour I did when I was like 12. That the pirate who dangles over the tunnel, his leg is dangling, and you talk about, oh, look at the hair on the leg of the animatronic. Like that always sticks out to me, but I don't see it as much anymore. Like, is it the same leg? Is it hair on the leg? I don't know. Right. So I had to kind of eliminate that one. But the hairy leg pirate always, for years, I thought the hairy leg pirate was going to be an instant. Contender here.
Yeah. So we do say Animal Kingdom / Hollywood Studios. Now, Mr. Snidillo and I did not discuss the titles of these at this point because I was sleeping last night as he was working on this one. However, I do like that he did Hollywood Studios because I think if there are newer eyes to DillosDiz, they're going to be like, what are they talking about? Oh, just keeping it as the current names, fine, and we're just keeping it consistent so everybody is on the same page.
Yeah, I think that helps too for our fourth and final section. Total BS. Nate, you know that when you see the fourth and final bracket, you will understand why we had to make these decisions the way we did. We know that people were going to be angry about both sides of this. The Animal Kingdom were going to be unhappy. The studios people were going to be happy. But this is all current. So here we go. Thankfully, Mr. Snidillo went with Studios music. The Navi Shaman versus Bean Bunny. The Navi Shaman got a lot of publicity when Pandora opened in its technology. So there's that. Bean Bunny, of course. Jen, cue to you for Bean Bunny.
What a cute ending.
So it seems like an easy choice for some people there. Speaking of Muppets, it's Statler and Waldorf versus Hopper, Statler and Waldorf. It's 3D movie versus 3D movie. And that's why we went with this matchup here. Again, we want to make those Animal Kingdom lovers angry that I put Muppet against an Animal Kingdom.
Yes.
So here we are. Jeffers is big on Bean Bunny, just to say.
Yes.
DJ Rex and Ogas versus Wheezy, music-related matchup here. So DJ Rex over in Ogas, and then Wheezy with his big production of "You Got a Friend in Me" at the end of Slinky Dog.
No, Lewis.
Oh no, never.
Let's not get crazy.
BB-8 over in Rise of the Resistance versus Kylo Ren.
That's
like
big.
people like that's big because why? I'm gonna pause for a second. Why does Kylo Ren? How does Kylo Ren make the cut when half of the time he's not working and there's a B mode for the ride? Because we're conspiracy theorists and we want to believe that Kylo Ren was refashioned out of the Wicked Witch of the West.
Correct.
The West. Can't talk this morning. Totally fine. The Wicked Witch of the West from the Great Movie Ride. So that is where we stand with that and why Kylo Ren makes the cut here.
Mm-hmm.
I love BB-8 in this. Love this whole underrated section of Rise of the Resistance. I like Kylo Ren's dance moves in this picture here.
That's part of the fun, Dr. J. That's part of the fun. How do you compare?
It's the Yeti versus Lightning McQueen. Now, you call it the Disco Yeti. You call it the non-functioning Yeti. Do you still love the Yeti? I personally have not seen Lightning McQueen yet, but everyone tells me I gotta go check out this Lightning McQueen. It's too far back in the studios. It's too far.
I'm like, where is it? Well, I don't even know where it is.
At DillosDiz Resort a couple of weeks ago, I talked a little bit about like how we used to get to the Toy Story parade and how we would drive like behind Catastrophe Canyon and all that. And then I was on Google Earth, like just looking at it, and I was like, oh, do I need to do this at DillosDiz Resort where I talk about where Lightning McQueen was? That's where this is now, and talk about like try to do like on the iPad, like just move around Google Earth behind the scenes at the studios just to point things out of what used to be there and what's there now. That's in the back of my brain as well. You haven't seen Lightning McQueen. Did you go see Lightning McQueen?
No, I don't. Where is he?
It's back by the Rock and Roller Coaster, all the way back
God,
there.
no, I have not.
The Yeti is the 2-seat because listen, I had to give the Animal Kingdom solo. So just to say, Animal Kingdom, 1 and 2 seats in this bracket. Huh? I'm coming around, everyone. I'm coming around on the Animal Kingdom.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah. And it's Mr. Potato Head versus the Swedish Chef. Potato
Can you
Head
pause for a moment? I need to make
pause.
it. Thank you.
Pause it.
Listen, you're right. I don't understand the bracket seating. I don't understand any of this. However, the chaos is what makes it fun, Dr. J.
Dr. J, we definitely craft the brackets with chaos. That we want the chaos. The chaos is what brings the people to the yard. Potato Head in the queue to Toy Story Mania, of course. And then we have the Swedish Chef, the gun, and Muppet Vision 3D. That we had to give Muppet Vision. Here's a good one. 3PO over in the Star Tours queue versus the Carnotaurus in Animal Kingdom's Dinosaur. So people can, this one is, of course, anytime I'm going to pause on the Carno, anytime I bring the Animal Kingdom out, especially when it comes to the ride Dinosaur, I got to put it against something that people are going to get angry about. How are people going to pick the Carnotaurus over 3PO?
Who's picking
I warrant you.
Raise your hand if you're going to do that.
In the chat, raise your hand if you're going to vote for the Carno over 3PO. I dare you. I dare you to do it. There you go. There's Lewis right there. Boom. That's right, Lewis. That one's for you. I think that's the last matchup here in the AK and MGM bracket. Let's move on to the fourth. Oh, no, I got one more.
Oh, no, one more. I almost forgot.
It's Hondo Onaka at Smuggler's Run versus Flick over at the Bugs Life 3D movie. Gave Bugs Life... it's tough to be a bug. Excuse me. Let me say the correct name of the attraction, please. There we go. And then finally, the nostalgia bracket is here.
Bum, bum, bum. Yay, nostalgia.
I remember when I said to Jen, like, oh, we got a 13-minute video, so this won't go an hour. Here we are, 35 minutes in. And so the nostalgia bracket, just to explain, is basically the nicer way to say this is the animatronic graveyard, the boneyard,
Yeah.
the metal pod, whatever you want to call it here. We picked animatronics 16 that are no longer with us in Walt Disney World.
R.I.P.
So you won't see any Epcot animatronics in this bracket because the Epcot is past, present, and future. You will see very heavy on the Kingdom and the studios, the movie ride, and that is what is coming up in this bracket. Jen, you tell me to pause it when it's time.
I sure will.
It's the extra terrestrial versus. Wait for it.
Are you?
I wanted to pause it versus Tarzan.
Okay.
So
Yes.
I did want to pause it here. I blanked on Tarzan entirely, and I just wanted to know that. So I almost just X'd myself out of the stream again.
Uh-oh.
So try to avoid that. So the extraterrestrial versus Tarzan. I think this is big for the extraterrestrial, getting the 1 seed in the nostalgia bracket. But I wanted to show it some love in the March.
It gets no love from me. How about that? No love from me.
Jen, how many times did you just go on Alien Encounter? Once?
Probably.
Or you went on
Probably.
once.
I
right?
went on once. Yeah. I mean, I know I definitely went on once and not happy about it. So I don't know that I ever went back again.
Nate is questioning the nostalgia bracket when Epcot has the nostalgia.
I know. We talked that through.
We talked it through. It was, we felt that in order to get the brackets to where we wanted them to be, Epcot had a lot of challenges, in our opinion. So we had to go with the past, present, and future. I think does one Epcot make the cut in this? Perhaps.
I feel like it does. When you were saying that, I was like, I think there's an Epcot in here.
I think there is an Epcot in here. So perhaps Epcot does get some representation over here, but it was very hard to really determine 16 Epcot animatronics based on its current situation. No, you'll see Stitch here momentarily. Tombstone Josh, stand by.
Okay. I just wanted to add one thing.
Yes.
If I can. Just to shout out Mr. Snidillo again, who once again was up until 1 a.m. putting this together. He changed out the background pictures for each park when it switches for the nostalgia. I'm like, you didn't have to do all that. Oh my goodness. But I love the nostalgic pictures behind them. Okay, that's all.
There we go. Carrying on to the next matchup. What is happening there? What is happening here? The Snow White Scary Adventure Dwarfs versus Stitch. Here's your Stitch. Tombstone Josh. The dwarfs are number 5. I always like this because, this was a horrifying ride for me for many years through adulthood. And I always appreciated seeing the dwarfs in that moment. Stitch, the 12 seed here, maybe not enough love for Stitch, but that's because I'm angry that the Alien Encounter became Stitch. If I'm being completely honest,
That's true.
Again, this is about chaos and not about logic.
And our personal feelings.
Dr. J, the chaos wins out over logic and reason here, just so you know. I think I only went on this one once when it was Stitch. I just think one time. Gene Kelly versus the Robo Dog on the Space Mountain exit queue. How do you not love Gene Kelly? Gene Kelly was Singing in the Rain, and in 1960, blah, 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 blah. Mary Poppins was... The Robo Dog comes courtesy of Lexi, because maybe 2 months ago, maybe in January sometime, when I was thinking of what to do with the bracket this year, I kind of posed a question to the one channel Discord over at DillosDizResort.com and said, what are some of your favorite animatronics? And people listed, but when Lexi mentioned the Space Mountain Robo Dog, I was like, oh, that's good. I wouldn't have thought of that one, so I'm going to put that in the bracket somewhere.
Nice.
So that was a good choice there. Jen, anything about the Robo Dog?
I mean, yeah, I almost I forget about the Robo Dog. So when I did see that, I was like, oh yeah, not one I would have thought of.
Oh yeah, we have more Epcot representation than I already forgot what all the seats. That's totally fine. So the Timekeeper over in Tomorrowland versus the Tragedians over in Spaceship Earth. I believe I should have clarified this for you, Jen, on the Epcot picture, because again, I'm making up codes that you don't know what they mean. So I'm going to clarify the Tragedians here.
Okay.
So on Epcot, on Epcot, on Spaceship Earth, when you're coming around and you get to the Greeks, right? On the right-hand side, there's like the four guys, and and one's reading a book now, I think, and they're all sitting around in a circle.
Yeah.
Prior to that, it was four actors,
right,
in masks, playing. Like doing some kind of theater. The theater is born, is what they used to say when you would pass, and it would be on your right-hand side. So the Tragedians, actually not the prehistoric guy here. It is the four masks Greeks. You probably should have said like the Greeks. I should have put it here instead of this word for actors that's like based on like a Tom Stoppard play from
based
the 60s.
on my MFA in dramaturgy.
So the Tragedians are actually the old Spaceship Earth Greek actors on the right-hand side. Everyone's like, what are you talking about? Apologies for not clarifying this one properly.
That's all right. It's all right.
Is it all right? Is it? Next matchup, it's the Wicked Witch from the Great Movie Ride. It's an easy matchup for the Wicked Witch of the West here in the first round, taking on the scary Ellen animatronic from Ellen's Energy Adventure. I mean, just take a look.
Terrifying. I'm surprised you didn't put the witch up against Kylo Ren, because I think that would have been funny.
Right. I mean, I think if we didn't do a nostalgia bracket, that probably would have been the case.
And maybe they kind of end up that way. Maybe.
Right. It could turn out that way.
Right.
I don't know if Kylo Ren's going to get that much love.
Right.
The next matchup here, it's the Brontos from the Universe of Energy versus R3X, which is the previous incarnation of Rex over in Star Tours. Jen said, can you clarify R3X for me? And I said, Star Tours pilot, and she's like, he's not the pilot anymore. And I was like, you went on Star Tours with me in January of 2020. And just so you know, 3PO was the pilot of that ride.
Wasn't I picked as the person,
you were the rebel spy on that?
Yes. So I was too busy being famous during that ride to realize.
You're like, I'm the rebel spy. You're also sitting there, don't get nauseous, don't get nauseous.
Exactly,
Don't get nauseous.
I'm fine, this is fine.
And I was like, yeah, that's why Rex is in Ogus now, because, continuity is our friend. Let's go over to another matchup. It's the Evil Queen at the Mirror on Snow White's Scary Adventures. And, this one was, when she spins around and then she's the witch. It's horrible. It's still traumatizing to this day. It's just it was a thing. There's a picture of me, cowered outside the attraction versus Mary Poppins and Bert. So it's like the light in the dark here in this matchup. Mary Poppins and Bert on the Great Movie Ride. The Kitchen Cabaret cast over in the land versus Iago when the Tiki Room was under new management. I don't know if Iago died tragically in the fire that led to the end of under new management. He looks like he was burned there. I don't even remember that part of the attraction. But that is the matchup, and that's it. It's over.
That's it.
That is the matchups for the DillosDiz. My favorite thing about Disney ever this year, March Madness Mania Pool.
Corn.
So we will now do the comments, questions you may have at this time as we wrap up and discuss the next steps here.
Videos of them in action, Lewis, is this what you're asking? And if so, I would have you go on YouTube and and search these rides.
Perhaps in this live stream we will. No, I mean it might take some time to pull the animatronics together.
Tombstone Josh, ask away. Iago, that is where we are going. Can we not forget the dang version of the attraction?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I was okay with it for a little while. I don't know if I would have wanted to see it forever, and I didn't have to.
Forever.
But when it first started, I was like, all right, I'm cool with this kind of like update, which is weird for me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any favorites? Early favorites for me. I think it's hard in the Epcot bracket, the Epcot past, present, and future bracket. Dreamfinder and Figment is going to be very hard to try to knock off, I think. The Wicked Witch, it's probably, I mean, I have to see the matchups. I can say this, but that Wicked Witch in the nostalgia bracket, that was always so terrific. I was surprised to not put the Alien from Movie Ride in the nostalgia bracket, but I was like, I can't have every single great movie ride animatronic.
I mean, that can be a whole Dillos Madness thing as well.
Yeah, its own separate. Let's list 16 movie ride animatronics and see who wins. We definitely, I think if we did, and the final bracket is the movie ride bracket, people would be like, "What?"
Right? Or would they? I mean, to Dr. J's point of our chaos here, I mean, people would probably be like, obviously they did this. Of course, the Dillos did this.
Yeah, and I think in the Magic Kingdom bracket, as I was going through them, like I said, I talk about the Gravedigger because I really like just looking at that animatronic. I don't know, there's something about the detailing I really like, and when I was just pulling up like Croc and Hook at the end of Peter Pan, I'm like, God, I just love flying past that finale. I just think I really enjoy that. So
I was going to say the same for my favorites. That I love seeing Peter Pan ones represented because Peter Pan hits me in my nostalgic soul. And one of the worst things about TikTok has been seeing Peter Pan with the lights on. I never want to see that. That was horrifying, and it made me very sad, and I don't want to see it anymore. But I am happy to see that. I am happy to see anything nostalgic. So Horizons, World of Motion, great movie ride. It's all good.
I've said this before about, I think I've said it before out loud on a podcast or something, that when I was learning how to be a tour guide at Universal, they took us to the street below at Confrontation so that you could see the tram passing over you. And I was like, did this ruin this ride for me? I'm not sure. But it similar. I mean, yeah, Kong and Peter Pan. We can debate those two. I'd just say on TikTok earlier, Steffers asked if there was Universal animatronics represented, and it was considered for the nostalgia bracket because of Kong. But he does have a little representation over at Islands of Adventure these days. And that's where that crossed my mind, was with because I loved Kong on Confrontation. So and Jaws obviously would have been a tough one for people over there. So Universal was thought about, and then just to be there. I see Josh's second question.
Yes. Is there any bracket you could have seen having all 4 finalists on its own? Tough decisions made here.
I could say where the nostalgia bracket, whatever the final 4 end up being in that bracket for me, I bet could have taken on anyone just based on who we are.
Yeah. Going to Lewis, we're discussing Iago here.
That's the Tiki Room question.
Yes.
I think at the time, listen, it also depends on where and when I saw it for the first time. So I was 1 week into being a cast member at Walt Disney World when I saw Tiki Room under new management for the very first time in November of 1995. It's in my brain that I remember when I saw it. So the pixie dust was washed over me. Yeah. So I think it's more of that nostalgic time period of being a new cast member, which has to do it that way. Disney could do nothing wrong.
Everything is great. I love this Kool-Aid. It's the best tasting Kool-Aid I've ever had.
Yes. So yeah, I don't know if any of you want to put in, do you guys know where you think you're going to see this going? Are you going to, and I also want to know, how does everyone do these brackets each year? Do you do it all in one shot? Do you do it week by week? How do you go about choosing? Because you know me and my decisions. So I tend to do it week to week and do it at the last second, but Yes, right. And Lewis says, and you admit it. You admit you're okay with a change.
I mean, I can tell you why. In hindsight, was it the best choice? No. Have we all made foolish decisions in our lives? Yes. But yeah, I would. All the feedback is great. I think we'll do a little more along the way. Our Theme Park Thursday lives this month, maybe after this week, will be dedicated to
TBD.
our picks. So starting the week of the 10th, the Theme Park Thursday on March 10th will feature our picks in the first round, and then we'll do it for each ensuing week, while we also mix in a little Disney news on Theme Park Thursday Live, Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. right here on our YouTube channel. Of course, immediately following, we'll start sending out the brackets to those who requested it. Maybe if you don't request it, I might just encourage some people to have a bracket and submit it to try to win some prizes. And as mentioned, DillosDizResort.com will have its own prize this year, and the guests at DillosDizResort.com are eligible for both the resort prize and the general population of the entire world prize. DillosDizResort.com. You don't have to enter at a higher level. We just want people to be guests of the resort and check it out, and maybe along the way, maybe increase. That's what we're looking for here. We're just trying.
Whatever you want to do.
We're just looking for more people to check in and have a good time with all our silly shenanigans, like the movie club this evening, where Jen just frets about death for 2 hours, probably.
That's what we do. That's a good selling point for DillosDiz. We just fret about death. Join us. Check it out. It's great over there.
Your escape to Disney nostalgia? No. DillosDizResort.com, where we fret about death.
Either tagline works. It's great. It's all great.
Listen, I know you don't like the possibility of the same person winning both, but if you're a resort
see what
guest,
happens. You get an extra shot.
Opportunity. Yeah, we want you to have more opportunities as a result of being a guest.
That's horrifying, Jeffers. No, next year will not be the worst ways to tie a Disney bracket. No. Do you want me to do you want to witness on live panic attacks? No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, you just got to pull up let's pull up all the rides and attractions with warning signs and discuss.
No, thank you.
In the one seat, it's decapitation on Space Mountain.
Keep your hands and arms in the vehicle for a reason. No.
Well, that's it. That's where we are with Selection Tuesday here on the DillosDiz YouTube channel. Thanks so much for checking out. Is Mr. Snidell going to freak out about the errors and then adjust?
I mean, I might let him know and see if he wants to do that, because it would involve editing, rendering, and then uploading again. So we'll see what we do. We'll see. But hopefully we will just take the selection process. We'll put it out as its own video, and then you can also go back and watch this as well if you want to see us talk over it. But maybe there'll be two versions up. And on
the podcast this Thursday, Theme Park Thursday, we talk a little bit in the intro. We'll have this audio be a portion of the podcast on Thursday, just so you can familiarize yourself again if you don't want to watch us do it again. And then we'll probably do a wraparound on Thursday for the podcast as well. But thanks so much for watching. Tell your friends that this bracket is happening, and to request your bracket at DillosDiz@gmail.com. I still say it wrong. Why can't I say it that way?
Why? Because you say
DillosDiz
it's
at
okay.
gmail.com.
AT DillosDiz.
I can't do the two ats together. I can't sandwich ats on DillosDiz. Why can't I say it that way?
No.
Request your bracket for Dillos Madness. DillosDiz@gmail.com. Until the next we see each other here, there, all around the square. She's Jen. I'm Frank. Bye-bye.
Deuces.